What's up, guys? Today I've got a battle against, as it says there, Daria. Hang on, I'm just gonna have to tap the screen. Try and get to focus. Y'all need to focus. There we go. Damn it. So it's leading off with this Sylveon. Let me tell you, this thing with a few coal mines is a fucking asshole. But I knew he was gonna lead off with him, and I went with my Mr. Krabs, and he sends out his Swampert to combat that. And he's gonna take a. Oh, sorry about that, guys. He's gonna take a Meteor Mash. Not very well, anyway. And then I'm like, well, that thing's clearly not going to die from that, so let's try Zen Headbutt. And Zen Headbutt does a considerable amount of damage. Then he hits my y'all with an Earthquake, and let me tell you, that was not fun. So I hit it with another Zen Headboot, and that's the end of Swampert. So that was fun. And then he sends out this Charizard, and I'm like, Mr. Krabs, he ain't into that. So I switch out to Prime Rape. And he comes out here looking as swaggerty as ever, swaying his little fists, and he goes for the Flare Blitz, and that's not going to be good for Prime Rape's health. But he lives it somehow, God knows, but he takes the real cold damage, which is always good. And he brings out this little asshole again. I hit that with the attack meant for Charizard, but it still hits him anyway. The Stone Hedge, and that does little to no damage. And it gets leftovers, so it's like, what was the point anyway? And then I use U-turn just to get him out there, just in case he's needed. And it's true, he is. So it was a useful thing to do, and he goes back to me, so that's awesome. And now comes my Greninja to be like, sup, bitches. I'm a fucking ninja. And then that happens, and I'm like, well, shit. Because now any health he lost has now gone straight back up. And now he goes ahead and uses Grass Knot. And that's just like, shit. I use his Dazzling Gleam, and that's me dead. I might have been a ninja, but I didn't see that coming. Sorry about this constant, like, this freaking zooming. For some reason, God knows why, but yeah. So send out Mr. Krabs again. He's going to wreck some shit, I'm sure. Then again, he's going to withdraw a Sylveon, so I'm like, well, you suck. And Charizard is going to take another Meteor Mash and be like, no, just imagine me. And I'm like, can I do this? No, I can't. Because I was going to use fucking Zen Headbutt, but that happened instead. So, pretty much screwed over there. And then Mr. Krabs dies, so I'm left in a bit of a pickle. But he is losing health rapidly, so I'll send out Prime Rape to do what he was intended to do at the beginning. And that was use that Stone Edge on the Charizard and wreck his face, which he does do. Come on, phone, stop with the... Sorry about that, it kept going bit, as it's still doing now, but we're going to have to live with it. Anyway, I do that just to get the damage off. And he uses Dazzling Gleam, and that's the end of my Prime Rape right there. Well, at least he was there, is the point made. So, he gets his leftovers back again, and that's just like, why even bother with this thing? And now I'm like, you know what, I'm a bit pissed off, so I'm going to send out Sweeps McGee. And he's going to wreck house with his Thunder Punch. Or at least do a decent amount of damage anyway. Which he does. But then they used Moonblast, and that's the end of Sweeps. So Sweeps didn't get as much sweeping as he did, and that's just more proof that Fairy OP. So now he's going to get that leftovers again. And I'm going to go into my good friend, and Hayden's good friend, as I know this, is ckPinch. Well, he's not ckPinch yet, just wait for it. Now he's ckPinch. Badass motherfucker in the house. So now he uses his fucking Rape attack. And that's a dead Sylveon. Thank God for that. And then it now comes along, Bennett does. And I'm like, well, shit, what am I supposed to do for this? And he Mega Evolves into the Mega Bennett. which is just weird as hell. And I go ahead and use Earthquake, thinking, oh, it's ghost type, but maybe this will hit it, but its feet are on the ground, so it does a decent amount of damage, and then it does that, and I'm like, well, I ain't into getting fucking killed by that, so I'm like, you can use Shadow Sneak all you want, but I was using Double Edge. I mean, not Double Edge, sorry. Double Team, just to get that thingy out of the way. And then I go for the Earthquake again. Kill the Banette and don't die. And then he sends out God of War. And I'm like, fan-dabby-dozy. Because to be fair, ckPinch is great at wrecking these. Using the quick attack takes off a shit ton of damage, and then he uses Hypnosis, and I'm like, ckPinch, no! And he just goes ahead and falls asleep. So I'm like, I'm not into Pinch again, taking shit tons of damage, so I switch out to Albino Gengar. But obviously he can't Mega Evolve because I've already Mega Evolved once. But he uses Moonblast, and I'm like, I can't remember if Fairy's good against Ghost, but it turns out they're not that good. So I try the Sucker Punch, but it fails. And he uses the Hypnosis, and it fails. And then I use the Hypnosis, and it fails. And then he uses the Hypnosis, and it fails. And then I use the Hypnosis, and it hits. So I put that bitch to sleep. And I'm happy about that. So the God of War is asleep, and I use Nightshade, and I'm like, get wrecked. Not enough damage to kill it, but it's still asleep, and I'm like, YOLO! And then I go ahead and use the Nightshade and take that shit out for the last time. And then he faints, and I'm like, yeah, yo. And then he sends out the Hydreigon. I'm like, well, shit again. And he falls asleep, so thank God that hit the first time, or else I would have been screwed. And it being asleep, I start taking advantage of it being asleep and start using Nightshade. And I was thinking, I can do a decent amount of damage with this. Teeny tiny amount of damage, but over time, taking no damage, I was like, Nightshade again. I was like, yeah, he's still asleep, Nightshade again. And I go for the Sucker Punch instead. I was like, maybe this will do this amount of damage, but no, does it? Fuck. And then Hydreigon wakes up and uses Dark Balls, and I'm like, well, Scheisenhausen. And down goes my Gengar. And all that's left is a very sleepy Pinsir. And I'm like, well, fuckity duck. He uses Dragon Rush, which isn't gonna hurt me that bad. But still very dangerous. And I used the quick attack and almost killed the Hydreigon. I was like, no way. And he uses the Roost. Gets that health back, and I'm like, damn it, no. And then I use the quick attack again. Take off a shit ton. He uses Earth Power. It doesn't affect Pinsir. I use quick attack. And that is game, set, and match, Daria. Thank you very much for that battle, Daria. That was amazing. GG all round. And I will see you guys on stream or on my YouTube videos next time I upload them again. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new. I'll see you guys later.